ESPN is reporting that the Chicago Bears are bringing in the son of a Super Bowl winning coach as a candidate for offensive coordinator. Hi, everyone. I'm Andy here with Chicago Bears React, bringing you all of the Chicago Bears news, both during the season and now in the off season. We've got a lot of content that's going to be coming your way over the coming weeks as the Chicago Bears look at hiring an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, as they look to make big decisions about what to do with the number one pick in the draft, what to do with Justin Fields, etc., etc. You won't want to miss it. Make sure you like this video, you subscribe, you turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming up. So yesterday we talked a little bit about the first candidate for the OC position, Shane Waldron. We broke that down a little bit, and today I wanted to take a quick look at what is going on with the second interview, which is going to be Clint Kubiak. This is reported by ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Now, Clint Kubiak is the son of Super Bowl winning coach Gary Kubiak. And Gary Kubiak, you often hear his name kind of tied to the Shanahans in kind of developing this scheme that is right now easily the most popular offensive scheme in the NFL. And the Bears have already indicated that they're very interested in this scheme just by bringing in Luke Getsy to begin with. Luke Getsy also comes from that tree under Mike LaFleur, who cut his teeth along with Kyle Shanahan. And so with the Bears going after now a second member of kind of this coaching tree, it starts to send a little bit of a message. The Chicago Bears do not want to change the language of their offense. Obviously, from play caller to play caller, the offense is going to change a little bit. You can't expect Luke Getsy's offense to look the same as Shane Waldron's, and you can't expect Shane's to look like Clint Kubiak's, and you can't expect Clint's to look like Mike McDaniel, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody's going to have their own flavor. Everybody's going to have their own variation. But at the same time, I liken it to, instead of having the Bears offense go from learning Spanish to now having to learn Arabic, you're asking them to go from learning Spanish to maybe learning Italian, something that is going to be similar enough. It's going to use similar structure, similar language that it's going to be easier to pick up. It's not going to be as big of a transition. And that's, I think, a notable thing that the Bears are clearly going after here. I would not be surprised if all of the names we are seeing come from this tree in some way. The Bears have stressed that they really want continuity moving forward. They don't want to change too much. They feel that the team is already on the right path. They just need the right play caller. And so that brings us to Kubiak. Now, Clint Kubiak has been in a couple of, let's see, here we go. He's been in a few different places, but most notably, he spent his time in Minnesota in a couple of different stints, and then a couple of times in Denver. And then most recently, he has taken over as the passing game coordinator in San Francisco. So if you look at this, he's been a part of different offenses. I don't know that we want to hold what happened in 2022 against him. I think there's a lot of reasons why the Denver Broncos offense was a failed offense last year, starting first and foremost with Nathaniel Hackett being the head coach to begin with. And you take a look at kind of his pedigree and you say, okay, so he has good bloodlines. He's coming from, he grew up around football. This is somebody who grew up under an innovator of offense, and now he spent time with a variety of other innovators. As we saw here, he was the offensive coordinator for a year in Minnesota. That was actually a pretty impressive year that they had. The reason that's a one-year stint is Bears fans may recall that was the season that the Minnesota Vikings ultimately decided that Coach Mike Zimmer wasn't going to be the coach to take them over the hump, and so they moved on. And so Clint not retaining that position had less to do, in my mind, with him being an incapable offensive coordinator, and had more to do with just the fact that there's a transition there with the coaching staff in general, which is something we talked about yesterday as it relates to that's the exact situation Shane Waldron is in right now with Pete Carroll leaving Seattle. And so a couple of other notes just wanted to point out as we kind of take a look at Clint. So right now, this season, as we're looking at it, the 49ers have the most explosive plays in the NFL. I do not want to give him too much credit for that, let's be honest. Kyle Shanahan is ultimately the person responsible for that. But this could be a reason why Clint would be interested in taking the Bears job, is right now he's not going to get credit for what's happening in San Francisco. He might be a big part of it. He might be instrumental, but at the same time, people are always going to say, yeah, but that's Kyle Shanahan's offense. And so, coming to a team like the Bears that have a defensive head coach provides an opportunity for a talented offensive play caller to finally have the opportunity to call plays, to finally have the opportunity to put their talent on display. And if Clint's somebody who aspires to be an NFL head coach, and I'd imagine if you're an assistant coach of any kind in the NFL, you aspire to be an NFL coach. He's eventually going to have to put a couple of seasons as a play caller back on his resume. So, but going back to this post here, the same was largely true in 2021 when he was the OC for the Vikings, and this was when he was the play caller. They were number 1 in plays over 15 yards, and they were 12th in passing DVOA. And so you look at that and you say, yes, they had Justin Jefferson, but this is a team that ultimately, it's not like Kirk Cousins is a world beater. You're talking about an above average NFL quarterback with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and not a whole lot else in the passing game, managing to have the most 15-yard plus plays in the NFL. And so to me, that says, all right, so this is somebody who they're looking at, can this person really elevate what's going on with the offense in terms of passing, something that the Bears sorely, sorely need. And then I'm going to take a look at one more tidbit, and this comes from actually David Kaplan, who everybody, of course, if you're a Bears fan, you know who the Cap Man is, and he pointed out that Kyle Shanahan never had Justin Fields on his radar during the 2021 draft, which is very, very interesting to me, and that doesn't mean Clint and Kyle view things the same way. But I think it is notable that Kyle Shanahan and Clint Kubiak both grew up in football, grew up in this kind of system. They've developed a similar kind of flavor of offense. And if Kyle was not interested in Justin Fields at the time, and he thought there were a number of quarterbacks in that draft better than Justin Fields, it's not a stretch to wonder if Clint Kubiak would have a similar reaction. And so I am curious to kind of see what that would indicate. As I mentioned yesterday, I think Shane Waldron could indicate that the Bears want to try to salvage Justin Fields. It's possible Clint Kubiak is meant to be kind of the other side of that coin. Let's see if let's hear the two plans. What could Clint do with the rookie? What would Shane want to do with Justin Fields? I'm sure they're going to be asked. Both of these candidates are going to be asked their opinions on both rookies and Justin. But I think bringing in people who might have kind of a different plan of attack is interesting, and you can kind of compare and contrast. And at the end of the day, these are two people who come from a similar tree who you can kind of pick their brains a little bit, and you can play them against one another. So really interested to see what happens. I think we're going to get more candidates. It's not just going to be these two, but these are the first two. And I think anytime you're talking about the first two candidates that the Bears are going after, you want to pay close attention to what are the themes. And the theme here is we don't want to change the offense. So that'll do it for today. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Again, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know, who do you prefer, Shane Waldron or Clint Kubiak? And as always, bear down.